A concerning trend on the rise.
Dangerous and deadly street racing has grown since the start of the pandemic.
Certainly, we're still trending in the wrong direction.
Growing calls to crack down on illegal street racing and sideshows.
Street racing has become an epidemic during this pandemic.
25,000 calls involving street racing activities.
Racing has been the #1 complaint for the past year.
AAA and a not-for-profit group called Street Racing Kills are joining hands in hopes of stopping this growing problem.
Today, victims' families, AAA, and the Highway Patrol teamed up to remind everybody how dangerous racing can be.
It's not just the street racer who's putting him or herself at risk, but it's actually an activity that puts everybody at risk.
When you lose a child, it's a completely different ballgame. It's a pain that you will never recover from.
Lily Trujillo Puquet is the founder of Street Racing Kills. Her daughter Val was 16 when she was killed by a street racer in 2013.
An Antonio native returning to Texas this week to raise awareness about the cause of her daughter's death.
Street Racing Kills and AAA Texas are joining forces.
She also partners with groups like AAA, which says the open roads during the pandemic made the issue of speed racing worse, with the number of speed-related crashes in Texas up by 15% in 2020.
Now I started seeing the problem growing and growing, and it just kept going. And I knew I had to do something about it. And I didn't want to spare a parent from losing a child from something 100% preventable. And after that, I just started creating programs. I called it Street Racing Kills because that's exactly what killed my daughter.
The accident claimed the life of a 16-year-old girl.
The teenagers that was taking her home and her two friends crashed against an SUV, then against a fence, and the only person that passed away was Valentina.
Tell me your first and last name and spell it.
Lori Argumedo, Loriargumedo.
A surveillance camera caught this moment of disaster.
I teamed up with Lily from Street Racing Kills.
The victim, a young mother named Bethany Holgan.
Our family had to bury a 23-year-old. Bethany has a little girl that's 6 that will grow up without her mother.
A young man decided to street race on a residential street, and he took my niece's life.
After I lost my niece, one of the things that I promised her is that I was going to keep her memory alive, and I did not want her death to be in vain.
At 6 o'clock, we'll hear from the state legislator who wants to penalize everyone involved, including spectators.
Assemblyman Fong, the Automobile Club of Southern California, the CHP, and activist group Street Racing Kills discussed Assembly Bill 3.
Assemblymember Fong drafted new legislation which is now law to make it easier for law enforcement to crack down on the drivers.
Try to do it in a speedway, in a safe environment. So that's our next step in raising awareness, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Lots of innocent people are getting killed. Get to a racetrack, do it where it's safe.
Help them find legal places where they can race their vehicles.
Keep it for the track, guys. Save it for the track.
What happened to her, I'll make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody, and I'll make sure that I will do everything that I can to spare a parent from losing a child.